Incremental Readings. So Piotr Wozniak just released a new video after about half a year of inactivity. And it's about artificial intelligence is not ready for incremental reading. It's like, If you watch the video, at the end, the answer is leading to no. I do disagree because of how he does. That was released just 7 hours ago, and I just watched the video 10 minutes from now. Those are my comments. So why he gets bad results. So what I will cover in this video is how you can very quickly and easily get a lot better results than he gets. So basically, I imported the same Wikipedia article, median nerve, and happens to be that what he used is just the beginning. It's just this. Nice. So without explaining anything, I will just copy this. Let me change the layout. Now, I'll be using ChatGPT with a custom ChatGPT called Remnode Flashcard Maker. That is an example of what I usually do. So I just pasted the text, no prompt, I just pasted, and this custom GPT is specialized on generating question and answers, flashcards at the end of the day, based on the inputted text. So I don't need to have any prompt. Hey, give me question and answers following the 20 rules of formulation, and then you skip all of this. Look at that. That doesn't mean are good necessarily. Let me copy this, and now they are already in my collection. Let's remember what the question Piotr is actually looking for.
The items looks a bit complex. I was wondering if I could use artificial intelligence to improve the formulation.
Okay, so it's about to improve the formulation. I have already done a video on that. That you have already a flashcard and you want to reformulate better, which could lead to the situation that the best approach is to actually have multiple flashcards, not just one, because there's too much information. It's not atomic enough. Okay, let's go through this one. What is median nerve? Very bad card. What is whatever concept? The answer could be anything. Here it's simple enough, but you will ask it the other way around. So the answer is median nerve. In this case, it's very easy to identify what you will need to close because it's very fact dense. The difference is how to actually phrase it. Which nerve passes through the carpal tunnel? Median nerve. Unique among the main nerves. That was the flashcard Piotr Wozniak was looking for. And there's still another one. What results from the median nerve being pressed in the carpal tunnel? The carpal tunnel syndrome. A disability caused by the nerve compression. Okay, I will want that. So in this case, I'm actually using Supermemo, not Remnode. So what I will need to do is that I go to what I just did, and I close the answer. Boom, done, and close deletion, and done. Which nerves passes through the carpal tunnel? Median nerve, which is the unique among the main nerves. Okay. And the one that I selected is what results from the median nerve being pressed in the carpal tunnel? And that's how I did the question. But even though I do small edits, because I make it my own, I go a lot quicker because I'm just editing something that has been instead of cooking from scratch, I buy the pasta, so I only have to boil it. I don't do the pasta from scratch. So it's like I'm pre-cooking the flashcards in that sense. So that's my own custom GPT. The results are not in the same quality. And the difference comes because all of this is a fine-tuned model. So if I go to edit that GPT, I have the instructions, and then you can also upload files with the examples, the 20 rules of formulation, and all of that. What happens if you don't have this? Well, you can actually use the regular ChatGPT. So what I think, based on the ChatGPT 4.0 that has been released recently, for me it's a big game changer. because I can ask questions, I can generate the flashcards a lot quicker, and now quicker than my reading speed. So this no longer adds friction that I have to wait until it's done. So now let's suppose that I have a free account and I use the 3.5 instead. So here we have the 20 rules of formulation from 25 years ago. It holds still up to date. And here you have some examples. So that's what we can do with ChatGPT now. Instead of a zero-shot prompt, we'll be giving an example. So I already pasted this. I want you to create a deck of flashcards from the text. Instructions, keep it simple, and then the text, that is an example. And then the deck of flashcards, pa-pa-pam. This is the result. And now I have to add the selection. So I want this. The only downside is that every single time I will have to copy and paste the prompt. As long as I follow this chat, I'm good to go. But every new chat I make, I will have to do this again. That's why for me, having a paid account and use the custom GPTs, it's a godsend. It's well worth the money. And that's what I get for free, using the free account. Okay, so that's the question Piotr was looking for. But compare. Which nerve passes through the carpal tunnel? Median nerve. And compare with what is unique about a median nerve passage. It's already giving you the name. Yeah, this is what is unique is that it's the only nerve. It's not active recall anymore. You provided the name on the question. Because here I ask which nerve. It's implicit that if I ask which is only one already. So it will be the same experience. So it wasn't changed much. So if you use Gemini or Copilot from Microsoft, you could do the same thing. You copy and paste this prompt every single time, and then you change the actual text you want. Wow, so in this case, it's weird. I get the questions from the examples, not from my own text. So in this case, what elucidates here is that prompt engineering is language model dependent. So how I actually formulate the question in ChatGPT doesn't work the same as in Copilot. So in Copilot, how I will do this, it will be slightly different. Now create flashcards from this text. Okay, yet another thing. I reached the maximum character or tokens like in ChatGPT. So here I'm very limited because if I'm giving already an example, I'm consuming characters every single time. So the text I can provide is quite limited. And just to illustrate this, if I select all of this, which is quite extensive, and I go to the RevNode flashcard maker, and I passed everything, here, first, it works. It accepted all of this. Perhaps because now it's using ChatGPT 4.0, and I have a bigger quantity of tokens, and the same text quantifies as less tokens at the same time. Look, I get the flashcards. So sadly, I'm not sponsored by OpenAI, but my best recommendation today, by the end of May 2024, the best deal for incremental reading or flashcards, it's, in my opinion, ChatGPT, the paid version using custom GPTs. Is well worth the money. What is the main cause of the carpal tunnel syndrome? Compression. Yep. For instance, I had one of my flashcards. What results from the median nerve being pressed in carpal tunnel? Carpal tunnel syndrome. Due nerve compression. And that's the same question in a different perspective. What is the main cause of this syndrome? Oh yeah, the compression. I may have some questions that I don't care. In this case, because I prompt the entire article, not just the 3 sentences from Piotr. 18. So in this case, he created 18 question and answers and are quite good in the sense of formulation of knowledge, the 20 rules. They're not perfect, but they are like a personal. You have to make those your own. This is not taking into account the knowledge you already have, what you already know, and the way that you ask questions, how you prefer, and all of that. So I suggest that you still fine tune it manually when you do the repetitions. But yeah, overall, if we compare with what he gets, that is just a question, it's a complete different case. Complete different case. So now if I answer, artificial intelligence is not ready for incremental reading, or could I phrase it, is artificial intelligence ready for incremental reading? At some degree. Incremental reading per se, no, because that means the entire flow. But for getting question and answers, flashcards, from a piece of text, which is a very narrow scope of incremental reading, yes, it's good enough. And that's a genuine example of mine. In group dynamics is what I did. So I had the entire article, I have split that, manually extracted that, and then look at all of those questions. I used this same custom GPT I shown to you. That doesn't mean that that's a good card. I will need to adjust it. I just did the colorization for the sake of creating the item. But the point is that for a priority range, in this priority range, that is 70-something%, it's low, it's good enough. So instead of having a very lazy closulations of a paragraph, very lazy, and that's it, and I won't see that again because it's very low priority. At the very least, I have this that is more, those questions have more sense. What happens if a group membership is above the conversation level for alternatives, but below the comparison level? Likely to join, not satisfactory. It's good enough. It's good enough. How does interdependence manifest in group dynamics? What is the impact of low comparison level for alternatives on group joining? Likely to join despite low satisfaction. What role? What happens if the group, It's pretty good. So obviously, it's not a replacement of what you do. But it's good enough that you can take it as an assistant. You go much quicker. You just reformulate what has been cooked already. So nothing more to add today. More videos about AI coming, by the way. And see you incrementally.